Okay, so what we have already is our brush cleaner in our jar. We have our all ready. We remember that we only dipping our brush that we're going to use into our oil slightly the first time. We have a paper towel for cleaning our brush and dipping, um, transitioning the color. And so let's now take our brush and slightly dip it into our oil, linseed oil, to get that brush nice and wet. And then I like to dab it on my paper towel slightly to get rid of the excess water. Okay. I don't have enough funds for you, but at Hobby Lobby, you can find these clear gloves to purchase. They're like $3 in for two of them, and that's a good thing if you want to use that. Okay, we have our burnt sienna brown. Cam, can you bring me some black, please? And we have black oil paint over there on the card. I forgot to grab some. And we have our whites. Okay, but this time we are going to integrate black, and you really can't see my black on the value scale real good, but at this time, thank you, my love, I would love for you to make another value on your value chart with adding the black. And so this is going to be number 8, okay? So we're going to take a little bit of the brown, just a little bit, put it in a spot, and you can grab, you don't actually have to grab a little bit. You can grab a good healthy amount, okay? Like a dime size, like I did right over here. And then you do want to grab a small amount, just barely touch the brush with the tip and mix it into that brown. And then keep adding a little bit at a time to make sure, this is why we turned out all the lights, and you only have one spotlight on you so that you can actually see the tint of brown in the black, okay? And what we want is a darker value than the number 7, okay? So right here for me, I see when I add it to, let me get a little closer. When I add this brown to the black, it's not as dark as this value, number 7. So I want to add just a smidget more black in there. But I don't want it so black, add so much black to it that it's only black. I do want to see that brown coming through. So exactly. So now we are getting a really, really dark brown, not a number 7, but a number 8, because we've moved up in the scale, correct? And I'm going to show you where those darker browns, number 8 values, should be in your sculpture of the face, okay? And I do believe I just got a little more darker. I did. Excellent. Now test your, you can test your darker value to your reference like this. You can just do a little test by pulling it over there. And what we want to do is look at our reference very carefully. Where in our reference do we see value number 8? A lot on the side contour of her face. So I do want to make sure that that's what I'm putting. I look at my reference very closely, and I start now to paint in those really dark number 8 values everywhere I see the value. And I typically do hold my brush toward the middle bottom, and I don't paint up here, holding it close, okay? And I'm sitting straight up. Remember, sitting properly. And then I am slightly brushing in those darker values, and I paint like I have a feather in my hand, using the tip of that paintbrush to paint in those number 8 values. And I'm using the tip of that brush first, right? Because if I use the flat part, I'm getting a bold line like this. See how bold that is? But when I'm using the tip, I can get more strokes like so. Okay, my darker brown is going to be added everywhere I see those really dark number 8 values on the face. Now, I always tell myself as I'm painting, I say, self, look at your reference over and over while you're painting. I don't just look at my painting continuously. My eyes is going back and forth from painting to reference, from painting to reference. You're using your discretion on the size brush you use, of course. Yeah, right? If you're painting a small area, you must move to a smaller brush. If you're using a medium area, like for me today, I'm using this number 4. And if you order yours, the same brushes as I did on Amazon, the link that I put in your syllabus, you have the number 4 as well. And so these are the medium small areas that I'm defining, especially there in that cheekbone. And I did it in the curve, the crack part, forming the nose. I didn't go all the way in here because now I have these nice browns, the light tones, but right on the edge of those browns, I have that number 8, that darker brown. And so typically your darker values, like your number 7s and your number 8s, they form the shadow. But shadows also have light in it, don't they? So your shadows should have a variation from dark to light. I should see dark number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, heading toward the highlights. Okay. So I notice under the eye is a really dark value there. Okay. And not so much here under the hairline, but yes, right on the edge of the hairline, meeting the forehead. Okay, there is a little bit brown there. And then if you find yourself putting a number 8 where a number 7 should be, you just grab you some more brown and mix it in on your brush on another section and just go back over it, just like that. Really getting that brown back in. And so we have a nice transition in her face. We have some beautiful dark browns. We have some rich medium browns, number 7s. And we have some nice number 6 values from our scale. And I do want you to keep going back, looking at that reference, looking at your painting, identifying where you see the number 5s and the number 6. And you're literally painting what you see. You paint what you know, okay? You paint what you know about art and about color and about value, but you also painting what you see, okay? I told my Art 1 class yesterday when they were trying to draw with me, and they's like, I don't know how to do this. I say, let's play monkey see, monkey do. Everything you see me do on this board, you do it. I think some of them finally got it in. So again, right here in the eye, I'm looking at my reference, and I see a number 8 value hitting right next to the highlight. And it curves. There's a curve in there. Be careful not to do a straight line when there should be a curve. All right? Be real careful about that. And then if you feel uncomfortable using a number 4 brush right here, we can look in our little container and we can grab a number 2. Okay, I'm switched over to my number 2, but I'm gonna hold my number 4 in my other hand because I switch back and forth a lot with number 4 and number 2 when I'm doing portraits. Okay. Oh yeah, that is so much better. Okay, so Once we have identified all of these darker values, okay, then I want you to start going back to the rest of your face that you have. Really, 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 really look at the structure of the eye. Oh wow, did you see what I just did here? I put that hard edge line above this eye, and it really made that eye look 3D, and it popped, okay? Wow. Yes. So we're going to shape the eyes. Make sure the shape is still there. We're going to make sure the shape of the nose is still visible. You obviously cannot have just a washed out face with just browns. We want to see all of the shapes correctly formed. Okay? All right, looking good here. Okay, and let's talk about reflective light. Right here, that nostril that I just painted, there is a number 8. No, okay, yeah, there's a number 8 right here for that nostril. Well, around the number 8 is number 7, excuse me. This number 7 for this left nostril, and I did it a number 7 because it's in the shadow, but it's lighter than the darkest number 8. So reflective light is still in the shadows. It's showing a lighter value, but it's still a dark value. And what do we define dark values as on this chart? We define them as numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 for this assignment. I'm going to grab a little white now, just myself, because I need the transition to be smooth. What am I talking about? Well, as you saw here, I had a brown, but it didn't seem like the brown was just brown, then transitioning lighter. It looked like that brown was just stopped, dark by itself. And I don't want that to happen. I want to softly fade it. So I use the tip of my brush like this, and I fade it like a feather and make it real soft. The only hard lines that I'm going to have on my portrait is my glasses and maybe some of these hairs of the eyebrows, okay? But everything else is real nice, soft, and feathery. How are we doing out there? All right. I love it. So I'm going to keep on softening up underneath that lip where that number 8 value is right here. I'm making sure I put a number 7 next to it and then soften it up, going lighter and lighter, and then grabbing that white with it and making sure that I blend softly. Gave it way much depth right there, didn't it? And when we give depth, we're making sure that it looks like a hole where it's supposed to look like a hole. Okay. And many of you are already working where you are sculpting with your brush the shapes of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So when I do that, I don't just sculpt it with a number 8 value. I make sure I start with a number 6 and then 7 and then 8 to sharpen up the shape of the object. Whether that's an eye, a flower, a tree, whatever it may be, if I have a shadow, I soften it up by making it a real feathery brush stroke. But a hard edge is when I do like this. That's a hard edge. That's a straight line. But if I want to make it soft, I do this. I soften it up. Now it's soft. But here, hard, soft. And I can make that line even softer by adding white to an edge like that. And then I can add even more white right there. And so now you see How that just softened so much. Nice and feathery. But that one's a hard. So hard line, soft line. So at this time, let's continue using number 4 and number 2 brush to define a lot of these number 8 cast values and form values of the face sculpture. Okay, we're going to do that, and we're going to also put the light and the shadow. Those are called the reflective lights. The light and the shadow should not be under a number 4. They shouldn't be 4, 3, 2, 1 on the value chart. They should be 5, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Do we have any questions as of now? No? All right. I will walk around shortly to see your progress. Make sure you have your shadow shapes correctly. What is a shadow shape again? It's the shape that the shadow makes. That was so simple, right? Like this is a shadow shape. It's like a rectangle in the forehead right there. And that's the same thing. And here is a shadow shape. It's a weird shadow shape, but look how that triangle is formed right here on this side of the face, because that is a shadow shape. In the neck part, I'm going to scoop my cam down, and here in the neck part, you can really see some shadow shapes. There are rectangles, and they are triangles formed right there. And this is what's making this, the hard edges that I make, those hard straight lines, is what's really making this left side of the face look like a sculpture itself. Okay? That's the only thing that's making this side look like a sculpture and this side looking like a soft, realistic face. By the hard, straight lines. Okay? I'm going to use a number 8 under her neck, but then I'm going to do number 8, and it's going to fade to number 7 and 6. Remember, don't get that highlight, the reflective lights, too bright. I think everywhere that you have a curved line, not a curved line, everywhere that the face separates from another part, there's always a shadow. So right there under her chin is a shadow. I did a number 8, but now I'm going to come in, and then I'm going to fade that number 8 into a number 7. And then notice how it's already 6 and 5 in the inside. Because you never, never, never want to have the face blended into the neck. You want to separate the face and the neck. And how do you do that? By putting a shadow under the chin. Right? Adding more white right here. There we go. And then what I want to do is, because I have a really strong line that separates real part of the face on the right and a sculpture face on the left, I put a mannequin style line of white that's going down the center of her face. And if you, in this class, if you chose to do the full mannequin as your painting today, you can. But if some of you chose to do the right side as a real face, your face or a friend face, you can do that. Okay? I don't mind. But I'm putting a hard edge line to separate those two sides of the face. My line right here didn't go as planned. There we go. I needed enough over there. Just wasn't quite enough. All right. So let's keep adding values as we go into our painting. And today should be the day this hour today, that you finish painting all the values on the face. When we come back Thursday, we will be learning how to glaze the color on. Oh, see, that got real dry. You're going to notice when it get dry, the paint won't glide smoothly on the canvas. Then you dip back into your oil and wipe it on the paintbrush and then proceed on. What was I saying? This is Monday, right? Wednesday, my bad. Wednesday is when you're going to start glazing color on. We'll start adding our first color. It could be red or blue, it could be purple, I don't know yet. I typically like to paint light colors first and the lighter values over here, and then I move on to the darker ones. All right, let's finish up. Our next video is going to be over glazing those colors.